afternoon and welcome to episode 166 of the HHH Racing Podcast, live on a beautiful Saturday afternoon to cover three amazing Grade 1 stake races live at Saratoga Racecourse. I'm your host, Howard Kravitz. Thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe on the bottom right-hand side of the screen. Smash that thumbs up button, which will tell YouTube it's a great show, and also hit that notification bell. We are expecting a huge crowd live here as we are going to be watching some fantastic races in Saratoga Springs. So please make sure you join us. Also, we'd love to hear any comments you have in the live chat. Again, in the top right-hand corner, please comment in the live chat about what we have to say about the races coming up here, or any opinions, of course, that you have about the races as they just started the Pick 5 at Saratoga with the Chalk winning, which looks like he's going to be a very nice horse for that won his second start in a row. So the Chalk ends up winning the first leg of the Pick 5 at Saratoga Springs. Let me bring on, we're going to be full-fledged with my co-hosts. We're going to have both our co-hosts on. We're also going to have our fantastic contributor, Kyle Roscoe, who's actually going to be on first, but Pete Visco and Paul Halloran will also be here. Very excited to have them on. Let's bring on first from the Chicago area. He's been on a roll lately. You got to pay attention to his picks as well. Let's bring him on. Kyle Roscoe. Kyle, how you doing today?
Good, man. You can't set me up like that. I'm about to hit this pick 4 right now for $19. It's going to be sick.
I just did. Now, as you probably just noticed, they switched to Big Time Fox, I believe.
Yeah.
So, Kyle, I don't know if you've already switched over, but what I'd like you to do, if you could, is switch over to Fox. I'm doing it through, just through my, through the internet, so to speak.
Yeah.
So is it Fox that they're on right now? Did they switch to Fox? Or they switch to?
Yeah.
They did. Okay. So I'm going to switch right now to get the
way.
live broadcast on Fox as well. Oops, let me turn that off. Actually, no, it's not on Fox.
No?
Is it on Fox too? We'll figure it out.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. Hold on. I'm looking up right now.
Yeah, because I want to get the live feed. Actually, I can do it through DRF. So I'm actually doing it through DRF, but I do not think it's on regular Fox today. So I'll have to figure out where that is. But anyway, Kyle, we got a lot of people watching, a lot of people interested.
NBC's putting it on.
Over. If someone in the chat,
they just said NBC.
Oh,
it's covering the Whitney, which is
the NBC, real NBC. But I don't know if they're going to be on NBC right now. In other words, is it NBC for the full hour and a half? I think it actually might be.
Chat, what you got for us?
This is the beauty of live podcast, folks. What I'm trying to do. I mean, I can watch the races through a lot of other methods, but I'm trying to get the main feed on so we can all sort of be watching the same thing. Okay. So go to NBC if you can, Kyle. Whether it be on your ideally through the internet if you can. That's what I'd like you to do. And I'll go ahead and talk while you're getting that set up. So the first leg of the Pick 5 just occurred, and it was won by a favorite. Now the track has completely changed, ladies and gentlemen. It's a big deal right now. So as I'm go ahead and looking the track, I believe it was sealed, and I don't think they're getting any more rain. They got about 45 minutes. They got about a half an hour of fairly heavy rain. Saint Tappet won race 8. He was very wide. Kyle, they were staying off the inside like there was some tarantulas down on the inside, which might make you nervous for Matsureya. So I'm trying to see how much time we have. It looks like it's going to be going up pretty soon.
Yeah,
here. Is that
4
right?
minutes.
Is that what you have here?
Yep.
Yeah. Again, I apologize for. All right, so let's quickly bring up the PPs and talk about the test stakes here, Kyle. Matsureya is going to be. I see 5 minutes to post or somewhere around there. Again, those of you that are watching at home, you're ahead of us. So when you're watching us here on the HHH Racing Podcast, you're already 4 or 5 seconds ahead of us. And we are well aware of that. So we will keep that in mind. But as I go ahead and bring up the PPs here very quickly, we talked about this race on Thursday, Kyle. This is a very weak rendition, unfortunately, of this race. Matarea is going to be a huge favorite. We were there. We saw Matarea live win the Acorn in a weird race where there was a shoe issue with one of the horses, and there's a huge scratch, and you see Matarea just went off. What would you like to see Flavian do here, Kyle? Because he's got the rail. She's got the rail. She has tactical speed, but there's actually a lot of speed in this race, so it might be a little bit tricky.
Yeah, my hope, like I said, obviously it sucks being down on the rail. Always my hope going into this. On paper, she just looks to be easily the fastest horse in this race by a pretty wide margin. I was hoping that Flavian would kind of not take back, but try and just swing her outside, especially with the way the track's playing right now. Hopefully he can let let's see who's going to send. The 3's going to send, the 5's going to definitely send, the 6 is going to definitely send as well. So I'm hoping that if he just sits behind the 3 in battle trio, that's going to probably fly out there at the end. I'm hoping that either he can find a hole.
Rain, Hot Peppers is going to go. Now, Wish You Well, which I know Pete Visco talked about on our show Thursday, and I mentioned also. She's fascinating. I don't think she's slow, Pete. Kyle. I don't think the 4 is slow. She didn't break well last time. She was only her second time start. Now, if you want to argue she didn't like the slop, I'm not gonna make a big pushback on that, but I think it was just more that she didn't break. I don't think it was the track condition. If Wish You Well breaks, she's definitely going also. And the horses are on the track. I see right now, looking at what I'm seeing, there's definitely some, it was sealed. So there's some puddles on the track. Right now it's listed as good and sealed, which is a little bit tricky. My guess is Matarea isn't quite naturally as fast as some of these others. That Flavian will sort of sit in the pocket and then swing out like as quickly as he can.
Yeah.
I don't think Flavian's going to stay on the rail in the backstretch. I think the minute Flavian can get to the outside, I think that's what he's going to do. Is that what you figure?
I would fully agree. And like I said, that's my entire hope, is that especially if the inside's playing extremely slow, like it seems it has been, especially from that last race, I'm hoping that he can swing out probably somewhere near on the mid turn and just be able to slingshot move around everybody. That's my
we got a lot of people. We got Joe Mecca. Joe, great to see you on the chat. I was with him in Saratoga. Yep, Ralph is here. Thank you guys. We got NBC. It's all good. We also look who we have here. We have a few minutes to post, but before we go to the race, let me stop sharing. That's okay. We have live. This is very exciting, folks. Live from Saratoga, our co-host Paul Halloran. Paul, we just lost. Well, now we just lost you. That's so weird. We had you and then we lost you, Paul. All right, I'm going to remove you. Paul, I see that you're trying to get on, but now we don't have you, Paul. So that was weird. We had Paul, and then we just lost Paul.
We almost got some insider information there.
Yeah, I don't know. Paul, there we go. Let's try it again. No, I tried to bring him on. It's not working. Paul, if you can hear us, for some reason, we're not able to bring you on right now. Although I do see you in the green room, Paul. So I'm not really sure what's going on, Paul. We can keep trying to bring you on. But Paul Halloran is live at Saratoga Springs. Again, we'd love to bring him on if we can, but for some reason the connection is not quite working. Christine is here. Hello, Christine. Again, we got a lot of people watching live. It says they're still parading behind the. Let me take the PPs off here so I can go ahead and look at the screen. Yeah, they're still parading behind. They're not quite at the gate yet. And again, now that we're watching the NBC feed, Kyle, we shouldn't be that far behind everyone else. So the NBC feed is the same that, through the internet is only about 2 seconds behind. But Paul, looks like we might be able to get Paul. Let's see if we can try Paul again.
Yeah,
Paul Halloran, live at Saratoga. Paul, is it stopped raining, Paul? What's the weather?
It has. Yeah, it has stopped raining. The track is sealed. It looks okay. We got a ton of rain over about 15 minutes, and the turf is listed. I think is good. I think the turf should be okay. I don't know what they're going to do with the last race. The main track is sealed. It should be good.
Okay. Yeah, Paul, you're going in and out. It's probably because you're on the phone or whatever. But Paul, what's your quick impressions?
A lot of people using Wi-Fi here at the same time.
Yeah, I know. Why don't
I
get me
think.
started. Paul, I don't know if you're gonna be able to do this
I
throughout the show or when you want to join. I know the Wi-Fi is better
Yeah. Well, I
inside.
got to check out right
I
after
hate.
the race.
Okay, real
I have
Paul,
to
if you can
check out
hear
right
us,
after
real.
the race anyway. I just wanted to say hello from the winner's circle and go from there.
Yeah, terrific, Paul. Real quick thoughts. The rail may not be good anymore. They were way off the rail in the last race, so Pratt's got to get to the outside as quickly as he can. Is that your thought?
Yeah, I mean, I think if you're looking to beat the one, you got the rail in 7 furlongs is never a bargain. And now you throw in a wet track. And as you said, it might be worse down there. So, this is the shot to take. And I will let you go because they are loading into the gate.
All right, thanks, Paul. So
Thanks, Paul.
I'll check back
actually,
in
I'm
later,
gonna.
Howard.
All right, thanks. I'll take you off screen. All right, so Paul, this is very cool, everyone. Paul is doing his work live. They're about to go in the gate again. I'll be calling the race, and then Kyle, obviously, as the race goes on, I want to hear your impression. So I'm not going to call it as if I'm race calling. Although there are some people probably watching that might not be able to see their TVs. Again, we're live here, HHH Racing Podcast. The Grade 1 test is about to begin. I'm actually watching on my phone, Kyle, and on the TV, and the phone is going to be pretty close to what's actually happening. But you're watching on the through the internet. I don't know if you can, if you actually watch on your phone through like Twin Spires, you might be even closer to that. Why don't we do that, Kyle? I'm gonna call this
Naira
race. Okay, so I'm going to call this pretty close as it's happening, ladies and gentlemen. They're almost all in the gate. I personally need 1-7 would be great for me and a lot of other people on the podcast pool. The 7's going to be closing.
I like the
deep.
7.
1-4 would also be okay with me. So we'll see whatever. Good luck to everyone in the test stakes. And they're about to break here. Up they're the 7. The 7's not quite in the gate yet. I guess she was about to go in. The 7 is the only closer. I know Andrew Champagne likes the 7 to finish second, along with myself here to maybe clunk up for second. We'll see what happens. Here we go. The Grade 1 test from Saratoga. Monterey breaks just fine. Hot Peppers looks like sort of outbreaks the field, being very aggressively ridden. Hot Peppers isn't getting an easy lead. Oh boy, if this horse wins, Kyle, I don't even know what to say because I'm totally against this horse. I'm assuming they're going at pretty fast pace. Monterey is in a great spot right now, Kyle, and you can tell she's already off the rail.
That's exactly what I was going to say. It works out exactly the way I wanted to. Monterey swinging to the outside now. Hopefully she gets a good run at it, but half mile.
Wish You Well's in a very good spot for second, and November Rain is chasing. I don't see a first quarter is 22-2. That's not that quick. Monterey is now on the move on the outside. Wish You Well is fighting but not doing a lot. Neither is November Rain. It looks like it's either going to be Monterey's trying to come up the inside here?
Yeah.
Yes. Pratt actually comes up the inside. What a trip. Now swings out. Monterey loses from here. I don't even know what to say.
Here she comes.
They're in the stretch. Hot Peppers is all out. Here comes Monterey. Not exactly blowing by Hot Peppers. Up to her flank. The 7 is flying on the outside. Oh, my goodness. Monterey, the 7 comes in. Boy, they were really tight there. And Hot Pepper, no. It is the 7 upsetting the field. Oh my goodness. We talked about this horse. I thought the 7 had no chance to maybe win this race, but I thought she was interesting. How about Chi-Town Lady, Kyle, for the 2 Chi-Town boys on the podcast upsets the test stakes. Monterey, I did not really see any excuses. There was a little bumping between Monterey and Hot Peppers. Kyle, I don't think I reversed it, and I'm absolutely sick to my stomach. I don't think I reversed this exacta. I gotta look. I did not. Unbelievable.
It came 7-6. So.
Oh, I'm sorry. You're right. My bad.
Yeah. No, the 6 still beat
Totally my fault. I don't feel nearly as bad now. I'm watching the replay. Monterey just no excuse. 45-1, 110-2. There was a little bit of a bump. Maybe hard to say. It was Oh boy. Oh my God, Kyle. Don't even begin to tell me. Chi-Town Lady absolutely bumped Monterey. Now,
Yeah.
this is going to be dicey. Oh,
Well, with everything over.
this could be disaster central. Now, we're going to get a lot of people talking on the chat. So here we go again, Kyle. I don't know if there's going to be inquiry. I don't want an inquiry because at least I have Chi-Town Lady as a C.
Yeah.
Did Chi-Town Lady coming over and bumping Monterey cause Monterey a placing? That's the big question. I'd love to hear your comments on the chat. I know a lot of people watching the replay right now. I mean, it was a very slight bump. I mean, Chi-Town Lady definitely came in a little bit. There's no question about it. Slight bump and Monterey's ass, Kyle. I know you're watching it also. If Monterey had lost second by like a nose, then I think you could argue, that maybe Monterey's cost of placing. I don't think so. Total disaster for me would be if the 7 comes down and the 6 is up. I'd be out of everything. I hated Hot Peppers in this race. Credit to Hot Peppers. By the way, this race went about as fast as the allowance race with the boys in the last race. So this was a pretty fast race. Kyle, there's an inquiry on all. This is why we have a live show, folks. All right, let's hear in the comments. Kyle, we've got an inquiry, and all 3 are lit up.
What is?
Oh my!
I mean, Lord. It caused Monterey to take a stutter step, but I'm just questioning if they really believe that Chi-Town Lady would not. That Monterey would have won that race if she didn't get bumped.
Well, it's not that he would have. It's not that she would have won. It's that she cost her a placing, Kyle.
Well, yeah.
So I'm watching the head on my phone. I don't know what's going on in BC right now. Let's see what again. Everyone's watching probably similar things here. I'm watching to see if Hot Peppers comes out also. Sort of, I'm curious. That's very much. There's no way Chi-Town Lady should come down. No. When Chi-Town Lady came in, Kyle, to me, when Chi-Town Lady came in, Hot Peppers came out slightly. I think Chi-Town Lady came more in than Hot Peppers coming out. But
yeah,
the head-on looks very minor to me. What's your thoughts, sir?
I agree with that. I mean, like I said, I don't really know if it would have changed much if they didn't get bumped. I still feel like it would have came same order. And that's kind of my. And I agree with Don just put in the chat. He said, feel like they rarely change some stuff, which I mean, these past few weeks have seen multiple occasions of that. So it's gonna be really interesting to see what they rule here.
You know what's weird about this race is I feel I have mixed emotions, Kyle, because I did like the 7, but I love the 7 like underneath. I just could not imagine a scenario in which the 7 was going to win the race. Because I thought if they just went fast, I thought Monterey was just much better and just would win, and the 7 would sort of come on for second. I think it's clear to say Kyle Monterey did not run her race. I think that's pretty fair to say.
Yeah.
I mean, she didn't go buy Hot Peppers. How the hell did she not go buy Hot Peppers?
I mean, you took the words right out of my mouth. That's exactly what I thought was going to happen, where I just think Monterey was going to sit that trip and I did like the 7. I had the 7 notated in second. I just thought she would, if it broke down, Monterey would, win for fun and she would fly up for second. And yeah, I mean, it's pretty safe to say that, she just didn't run her race.
I'm just, I gotta be honest. I'm somewhat stunned to be very honest. Again, they're showing the replay. Kyle, if the 7 comes down, and again, I'd love to hear everyone's. We got a lot of opinions, Kyle, so feel free to put some up. Oh, you can't do it. That's right. You're not Pete Visco. Let me check out some comments here. Again, what do you think should happen here? Christine said the 6 came out as well. Christine, I do agree, but the 7 did come in more than the 6 came out. So this is fascinating. Philip is here. Hello, Philip. Let's see here. We got the one only Pete Visco. Pete,
what's up, everybody?
Did you see what happened there, sir?
All I know is, and I'm going to curse for the first time ever on this podcast.
Do it.
You look. I just checked to make sure. You chicken shit. You didn't pick that horse on the blog for everyone today. That's all I'm going to say. I'm going to call you a bad word for the first time in the history of this podcast.
And just a heads up, the results all stand. 7-6-1.
Okay. You know what?
Just wanted to say that. No.
You're fair, absolutely fair to criticize. I heard I've under the gun a little bit lately. I've taken a little bit of criticism lately from what I hear behind the scenes. Not when I say behind the scenes, you guys know what I mean. Not from you guys, but from some other people. Here's the deal, Pete. I just didn't see a scenario in which she could win. Like, I loved her to clunk up for second. I did not love her to win this race. I mean, she's never run a race even close to being good enough. And Pete, Kyle, and I were just talking. And by the way, Pete, thanks for joining the show as I buried the lead. Just jump on here. I mean, I don't know if you had. I know you're busy and you just jumped in. I don't know. Did you have a chance to see the whole race, Pete?
I did. I was watching on my phone quickly. Okay. Yeah. I mean, I
saw.
Monterey
did not run. I mean, when Monterey got up to Hot Peppers at the top of the stretch, I thought it was over. I mean, Monterey did not run her race at all. I don't know if it was the slop. I don't know what it was. But Pete, your general thoughts right now on that race?
Yeah, that was my thought. Was I don't know if it was because I apologize. I didn't have a chance to look. Has she ever run on an off track? I don't have. I'm waiting for the PPs to load.
Let me go ahead and bring up
the answer to that. The answer to that question is no.
No. Okay, I was curious.
Let's first of all let's give congrats to Wesley Ward and Chi-Town Lady. I mean, what a fantastic run! Wesley Ward is now the second time in the last few weeks that she has upset a huge favorite, or he upset a huge favorite with a girl. Wesley Ward, of course, upset Bella Sophia with Kumari. What was that, 2 weekends ago now?
Yes.
So for those of you that say Wesley Ward can't win outside of Kentucky, you got to restart, rethinking that. I guess, a lot of horses, as you guys know, if they like turf, they like slop. I mean, she's been working unbelievably. There is a 59 breeze over the training track, which is maybe she's just a mudlark. I don't know what to say, guys.
Yeah, I mean, there's she's I guess one for one on the wet on a good track. She broke her maiden. Talking about Chi-Town Lady, but I mean that's a long time ago, and who knows what it was even in that race.
4.5 as well.
Yeah, 4.5. So I mean, I'm not sure if that's a precursor to much, but I mean it's better than nothing. Whereas Monterey,
she'd never been on the slop, but
no,
I don't know, guys. That's just, to me, that's a little bit one of those. And what's crazy, Kyle, is they weren't really like lining up on the backstretch like in a crazy speed duel. Like the race just completely. I wasn't watching a lot of Chi-Town Lady, I have to admit. And for those of you at home wondering Howard is such a bad announcer, guys, I was watching this on my phone. I'm trying to watch on the phone instead of the broadcast because the phone is a lot further ahead than the broadcast on TV that we have. Although I know you folks at home, of course, are seeing the results a good 3 or 4 seconds ahead of us. Kyle, Pete, this completely blows up the pick 5 and just started a pick 4 that I thought might be chalky. Not anymore.
No, that is now definitely not now. Now it's definitely. I mean, that's what you're looking for. That's what you hope for. Is if you could beat what'd she go off 1 to 5, right? If you can beat the 1 to 5 favorite on a B, and you had it. I saw on your grid, you had it as a C, right? The 7.
Yeah. So again, full disclosure for everyone, I've got my own live bets. I've got podcast pool. I got a lot. I even have Meadowlands going on. I don't even know what's actually. Yeah, I have that going on, but I'm not going to switch to it right now. Obviously, in the podcast pool, and for those of you watching, I have no idea what the podcast pool is. It's a syndicate of money that we put together. And we grew some tickets together. My gold team, actually, I like what the gold team is because even though the chalk won the first race and that was a C, we are 2 by 3 by 4 to end
that's
this leg.
good.
So the gold team still has a shot, and the double, by the way, paid $90. But I think Chi-Town Lady is going to pay even more than 17-1 the pick 5. I mean,
nobody had that horse. Yeah, I mean that's unless you're doing B's and C's, nobody.
Yeah. And then my own personal bets, I also have that horse is a C, but I'm not as deep on my own personal ticket, although no one cares. I did play some big exactas. I'll tell you what, Kyle, mid-stretch, I was really excited that 1-7 was going to happen because I had a large exacta 1-7 for my players, but I never would have had 7-6-1, Pete. If it came 7-1, I would have been upset with myself. If you're sort of teasing me and making a good point at the same time about not having this horse, but I mean, I just didn't think this horse could win. I just had a hard time seeing.
No, the only thing I was thinking when I was I had read the blog quick this morning, but I didn't remember it. And I was thinking I couldn't remember if you had this one as one of the, where you put it in first, second, and third and a try. as a bomber and
Yeah,
then
I wish
try
I
and
had. But you
and
know
it
what?
didn't pay crazy anyway. It didn't pay. It's not like you missed out on a $500 triple. I mean, even with that horse on top.
But you know what, Pete? There is no effing way. I'll say it. No fucking way that I would have had Hot Peppers ahead of Monterey in any of my tries. I mean,
No, I didn't like that. We didn't like that horse at all, really.
we talked about the victory ride last time, right? We talked about on Thursday, like that was such a bad race. I didn't think Hot Peppers would actually get loose in this race. She ran huge, but again, I don't think this buyer is going to be that big.
Did they go 45 to the half? Did she go 45?
Yeah, they went.
Yeah.
Not
45.
that that's because I remember I couldn't hear it great. I was moving around, but
it was 45-1, I believe.
So she was cooking. I mean, she was at least she wasn't setting. She ran a good race. Is what I'm trying to say. I thought she ran a pretty good race.
Great job, buddy. Philip had the 7. Congratulations.
Nice.
Ralph mentioned the only 2 horses that ran on off tracks was okay. Listen, absolutely right. Going 4.5 furlongs on a good, track at Keeneland to me is not the same as what just happened in that race. I mean, every track is very different. Every wet track is different. But Ralph, it's a fair comment to make. Guys, I don't know. I'm watching. We can't bring up. For those of you wondering at home, if you didn't watch us last week, we don't have broadcasting rights to NYRA. Very few people do. I saw some people having, the races live on YouTube. Those people are basically doing something illegal unless they have broadcasting rights through NYRA, which very few people do. So that's why we can't show the races live. But Pete and Kyle, as we've talked about, the minute it comes up on YouTube, if you guys have YouTube somewhere and we can show the race, I'd be happy to show the race to people. I'm watching the replay again on through my phone on Twin Spire. I'm trying to see where the 7 comes from. Chi-Town Lady,
just literally dead last, like all the way.
Yeah, she was just wide as can be, wasn't she? I mean, the middle of the track is just definitely the place. And actually, Anejo, who finished second in the start of the pick 5, came from the clouds in like the 8 path. Yeah. So
it's just where it's one of those days for me. I'm down in the dumps. It's one of those days for me where my opinions are fine, and it's just worst case scenario.
Please don't tell me you're upset because you lost your $20 pick 4. By the way.
Oh, I was more than that.
Oh, I thought you said you had it. Oh, you had a bunch of times.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, I did.
All right. Anyway, sorry about that. I'm watching the head on now. Where do you go from here with Monterey, Pete? Is this just, hope not a wet track next time and move on? I mean, I'm watching the replay again on the backstretch. You know what, Kyle? She did exactly what we thought.
Yep.
Pratt got this horse to the outside like immediately. Monterey, Kyle, was in the 4-5 path down the backstretch. Maybe she didn't like to take. I mean, it's possible she didn't like mud in her face, and that's certainly she wasn't behind. Chi-Town Lady was way back, so I guess the race just fell apart. If the race fell apart, that means Hot Peppers ran a gigantic race.
Yeah, I thought that's what I thought when I watching it because I think not just us, we were down on Hot Peppers. A couple other podcasts I listened to that talked about this card where also everyone seemed to be down on Hot Peppers and basically tossing that horse. So I thought she ran great. If you look at Monterey, the one thing I was just looking at, I guess we got to see what this buyer comes up as. It could be if it comes in pretty low. She could have been 4 straight races now with decreasing buyers, which is a little bit concerning. And it could just be that, hey, she was beating up on maybe not the best competition, even though they were all graded stakes races. And maybe she was there was a little fluff behind it. Because last one was once Echo Zulu went out, that was a pretty soft field. The one before looks like it had some decent horses, and the 8 Bells actually came up pretty strong, but I don't know. You don't know what to do. I mean, what are you going to do? You fire away next time and hope she runs better.
I mean, Pete, I think right before you came on, this final time of 1:23 and I think 0.4 or 4/5 was about the same. And correct me if I'm wrong, people watching live. I think the final time of that race at the test was pretty close to the same time or faster than the allowance race that St. Tappet ran. And St. Tappet's a nice horse. This is total speculation, Pete. I think it's going to come back like a high 80s would be a guess. Yeah. I think just Chi-Town Lady just totally freaked on the wet and ran a monster race, and Monterey took a small step back. I would say it's gonna be like an 85 or an 86. Again, I'm completely guessing. Does that sound reasonable?
I think so. I mean, I'm no
Yeah.
figure specialist. So, but it does sound reasonable. And I mean, I guess, yeah, I'm looking back at Chi-Town Lady again. I understand why you like a horse to clunk up, but the source doesn't show anything that necessarily points to this as being the next race that came out of this
No.
the past 2 or 3. So it could just be the wet. I mean,
no, I mean, listen, I'm stunned she won. I mean, I liked her, but I didn't, and for those of you that want to throw crap in my face, that's fine. I can take it. Listen, I'm wrong all the time. I'm trying to stay very humble. It's a tough game. But, just because you like a horse in second doesn't mean, I should have.
No. It's completely different looking for an underneath horse as opposed to thinking a horse is going to beat a 1-5 favorite. I'm giving you crap because I know you like those underneath ones, and it was Chi-Town. It's Chicago, baby. We talked about this on the pod. I mean, that was one thing we talked about.
Does that mean you're unloading on Action Jackson, by the way, in the last? If it's on turf,
the way my picks seem to be going today, I'm not sure I want to unload on anything, but we'll see.
Well, guys, the next race that we're going to be talking about here, of course, is the Grade 1 Whitney, and Pete, our wonderful other friend and co-host Paul Halloran, did check in.
Oh, he did?
He did check in, but the internet out on it was like this way 2 weeks ago. The internet at Saratoga outside of the track. When I say outside, I don't mean like 2 blocks away. I mean literally like on the apron. It's not nearly as good for some reason as actually inside the building structure. Saratoga, if you're listening, you got to figure that crap out. But anyway, so I think when he's reporting, we were going to try to get him from the paddock actually live. But I don't know if that's going to happen. He might just be inside the building. We'll see how it works out. But anyway, he did check in. It looks like also with the weather, Pete, the weather looks like it's going to be okay. Now it could pop up again, but based on the weather forecast that I saw, I think it's going to be okay. So that's another thing that'll be interesting to see as you develop. Guys, let's go ahead as I'm multitasking here. Let's start getting into the Whitney. Now there is a huge development as I go ahead and see how much time we have left here. I see. Is that 15 minutes? I'm trying to see, guys. Is that what you guys have approximately?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. And the odds right now for the Grade 1 Whitney, one of the favorite races. Actually, before we give the odds, I know that last week we had a lot of people watching actually from South America. So if you're watching from South America or you're a Spanish speaker, bienvenido y gracias por ver el HHH Racing Podcast. How'd I do, Pete?
I have no idea. You could have said, go screw yourself. Anybody in South America, for all I know. So I don't.
I did not say that.
That sounds good.
I said welcome and thanks for watching the HHH Racing Podcast. Anyway, as we get into the Whitney, Grade 1, really awesome race. It's only a 5-horse field. I'm not even going to mention one more time about the field size because I'm just not going to go there. You got 3 monsters and a semi-monster and Happy Savior. You got 3 multi-millionaires and Hot Rod Charlie, Olympiad, and Life is Good. Pete, we talked about this show, on the show. We talked about this race ad nauseum with Andrew Champagne. First question, does the track condition and perhaps the outside paths being much better change anything for you in handicapping this race?
Not necessarily. I mean, it's hard to know. When horses are this good, I don't pay that much attention to it. I mean, you hope if you're a Life is Good fan, maybe you sit off the rail a little bit because he's going to be most likely going to be on the top. So maybe you sit off a little bit and set a few paths off. And Olympiad's going to make the same run I think he makes. I don't know. I think when you're talking about this quality of horses, I don't get too concerned with that.
And then
what about you guys?
Not only with the track condition, I mean, the race 2-back, the allowance race, was run by a horse that came a little bit off the pace. And that last race, I don't know how you could say speed's not holding. Hot Peppers almost won the damn thing, but Chi-Town Lady came from the cloud. So Pete, I have no opinion on if you want to speed or closing in this race.
I mean, I also don't think that the top 3 horses, none of them I would consider closers in the traditional closer sense. I mean, they all do their best running either in the 1 or 2 spot generally. So I'm not sure. I mean, unless you're looking at, if you look right there. I mean, Hot Rod Charlie's almost never not in the 1 or 2 when he runs his best races. Life is Good's always near the lead, and Olympiad loves to just sit right off or sort of be on the lead. So it's a weird one in that respect because we don't really have someone who's going to be sitting. I mean, Happy Saver, I guess, will be the one who's going to wind up trying to come off the pace. I'm not sure Zoomer has much of a possibility, but who the hell knows after that last one? Maybe that's the play.
So, Kyle, you were not with us, obviously, for the show Thursday. We don't even know your opinion yet, so we need to lean on you here a little bit. We talked on the show. Well, first of all, American Revolution scratched. I have not heard a reason why. I've been pretty busy today. If anyone in the chat wants to comment on if you've heard, and not speculation, like if someone actually has some factual evidence to know why American Revolution scratched. I mean, you can't say because Pletcher has Life is Good because Happy Saver's in the race. So I think from what I heard, they were worried about an off track with American Revolution and maybe he didn't want to run on a wet surface. Kyle, we talked about the pace scenario. If you're a Hot Rod Charlie fan, like I have been, I'm not a fan of his in this race, but I've been a fan of his in general. He just has to go, right? I mean, his best races are on the lead. I mean, there's no closer to worry about, as Pete said. You just gun and try to win it from there, right? Or what do you do here?
That was 5. I actually had a conversation with my dad earlier. That's exactly what I said. Hot Rod Charlie has to go, in my opinion, to be able to have any chance at winning this race. Life is Good is probably just going to sit to his outside if Olympiad doesn't get there. I think Olympiad might just sit right behind him, and that's kind of why I'm actually leaning towards Olympiad in this race. I think he's just improving really well at the right time, and I think he just runs his big race here.
So what trip? Well, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, like I said, I was just thinking that he sits third, literally right behind both of them, kind of in the 3 path, just sitting outside, sitting off the rail, and just so he can swing out to the middle of the track, coming down the lane, and hopefully pass both of them. But in regards to Hot Rod Charlie, yeah, in my opinion, he just has to send to have a chance to win this race.
So let's just say Hot Rod Charlie descends like a banshee. Okay, Zoomer is going to be in last, I would assume. Olympiad's going to sit. I guess the big question in this race to me, in that scenario, can Life is Good sit off of Hot Rod Charlie and go by going 1 1/8 on a track that is tricky to tell right now? In addition to that, Life is Good has never been on a sloppy surface. But if you in the top right, for those who aren't familiar with the PPs, the top right there, you see that wet, the top right-hand corner, it says 441. Kyle, you helped people at Arlington Racecourse for a few years as an Arlington professor, which for those you don't know means he helped people read the form and understand how to handicap. A 441 Tomlinson, Kyle, is really, really good for a wet breeding, correct?
Oh, 100%. Yeah, and so I'm trying to reason with myself here, to be honest, because I'm trying to make now a comeback pick 3, and I'm trying to reason with myself on what I'm doing. But yeah,
although Olympiad has a 456, which is funny. Yeah. Everybody's in the 4s really in this race.
Guys, look who's here. Paul Halloran in the paddock at Saratoga. Paul, how you doing?
What's up, Paul?
Hi, guys. How you doing?
Excellent.
Paul, is that the sun and blue skies? What the hell is going on in Saratoga? Usual, right?
Yeah, it's the sun with about 200% humidity.
Right. And you're in a jacket. Well, I hope you're
take that jacket off, man.
Yeah.
You're going to die out there.
But, well, that was just another only at Saratoga race we were all treated to.
Yeah, quick thoughts about the test, Paul?
Well, we just talked to Wesley Ward and the ownership group. Matarrea beat that horse by 15 3/4 lengths 2 races ago. Wesley said that they were trying to run that horse closer to the pace, and they decided to just let her sit back and take one run. And obviously Rosario's the right guy for that. And maybe the outside was a little better. But having said all of that, I think it's probably still hard to play the horse right now, don't you?
Hey, Paul, this is awesome. I'd like to say another podcast that has live info from the trainers. Can you just quickly, for people that aren't familiar with you and your background, quickly tell people why you have that access, why you just talked to Wesley Ward, who won the race as a trainer. Just quickly tell people what you're doing there today.
Oh, sure. Yeah. As you guys know, I work for the Saratoga Special, and I actually wasn't supposed to cover the test. I was supposed to cover the Glens Falls, and then I have the Saratoga Derby coming up too. But I did get reassigned to the test, so I was able to talk to Wesley and actually one of the gentlemen from Ireland, from Castleton Lions, in the ownership group, and they bred the horse, so they own the mare, and they went to Verrazano, and I would say this is probably the best. This is probably the best result for any Verrazano thus far. They also bred and owned Gio Ponte, who I told them I needed desperately when Zenyatta would buy him in the Breeders' Cup Classic.
So, Paul, what's by the way, I'm assuming you're on your phone. If you possibly pull your phone a little bit further away from your face, and we love seeing you, Paul, but just to let you know, your face.
Actually, I like this is probably the best view of Paul we've ever had.
Now Paul's frozen. So.
Yeah, he's frozen anyway.
All right, I'm going to remove Paul and see. Let's just see if he comes back. Paul, if you can hear us, you're frozen. That's why I'm not referring to you right now. But anyway, Paul, if we get you back on live, maybe pull your phone a little bit further away from you. But great. There, Paul, we got you. There you go. That's
yeah. I'm pretty sure you're the only one to do the Bolton Landing Test daily double.
But what's your thought in the Whitney here, Pete? What's the vibe, or Paul? What's the vibe? What's your thought here now?
Well, again, you put the track condition being off, it's hard to know exactly how it's going to affect anyone. I think the key to this race, and people I've talked to, is what is Hot Rod Charlie going to do? Clearly, the Olympiad people want Hot Rod Charlie to go and put some pressure on Life is Good, and think that if he does that, they have a real fighting shot. And if he doesn't, then it could be a problem. So I think you're going to know right after the first turn how this is going to go. If Life is Good is loping out there on an easy lead, I think he's going to be tough to beat. If Hot Rod Charlie, who was wearing blinkers, who likes to be in the mix, as you guys know, if Hot Rod puts some pressure on him, then Olympiad is sharp as a tack. You guys, as you can see on paper. So I really think that's going to be the key to the race. Is Life is Good going to get pressured early?
Paul, I don't know if you're close to the paddock or what's the track vibe from the connections? Do you think the Hot Rod Charlie's got blinks on? I sort of feel like they have to go. Like, I think their only choice is just going after it, take Life is Good slightly out of his game, hope they can outbreak him, and then just maybe hold on against Olympiad. Is that the thought?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think putting the blink. Let me say this: I'm not a big fan of an equipment change like that going into a Grade 1 race like this, but I think putting them on is a sign that they're going to go, and I think they know they have a horse. He likes to mix it up. He's been involved in two, one takedown and one almost takedown. So I think they figure their chances. Mix it up, maybe take the run out of Life is Good, and then now you got to find a way to hold off Olympiad. We'll see what kind of trip Junior Alvarado. I think Junior Alvarado will really be kind of looking to see what Hot Rod Charlie is doing, because I think he's going to take his cue. I did talk to someone in the paddock today who was a friend of Junior Alvarado, and he said that Junior told him, I really think we can win, but not unless Hot Rod Charlie goes with Life is Good. Put some pressure on him early. So that's the feeling in the Olympiad camp.
Okay, I think Life is. By the way, Life is Good has drifted up to 4 to 5. And I said on the show, if he was like even money or 6 to 5, I almost think that's value. If I'm IRAD, Pete, I am absolutely gunning as hard as I can and cross over and just try to put the race to bed and don't even let Hot Rod Charlie even sniff the lead. Would you agree with that?
100%. Yeah, I think that's his game. That's what he wants to do. We've never, I don't think has he ever, I'm looking again. I don't think he's ever passed a horse, right? In the lane.
No, he is not.
So, you don't want to try it out against this field for the first time if you don't have to. And he's got the outside post, which is ideal. I mean, he can see what Hot Rod does, and he can just, he can overtake him, and I get the lead, and then he can back it down on the backstretch if he needs to.
Kyle, why do I have a very strange, bizarre feeling that they are going to freaking absolutely go crazy fast, and Happy Saver's going to clunk up and win this thing at 10-1. Why do I get that feeling right now?
Don't ruin Kyle's day even more than it's already ruined.
I know. Listen, I need 4 or 6 badly, guys, badly. So I'll be happy with either one of those. Believe me.
Howard's just putting it in the air as usual. It's fine.
Well, he just wants to say, I told you Happy Saver. Right. And he could say, I told you Happy Saver.
By the way, Olympiad is now 9-5, so Olympiad is taking late money.
Well, for full disclosure, again, to be honest, on my own personal betting today, I have a lot of stuff with the podcast pools I'm involved with, but I played a small ABC pick 5 for myself. I have Life is Good as the only A, so I'm only alive to Life is Good, and the pick 3 has got to be a decent. Paul, where are you going to watch this race from? Are you in the backyard? I'm trying to see here.
I'm still in the paddock. I'm going to probably watch it on the big screen in the paddock because I got to end up here before the next race anyway because I got to cover the Saratoga Derby. So, which I think is a great race, by the way.
Yes.
So they're interviewing Todd Pletcher on NBC. I'm not sure what they're saying, but the front. I'm looking at the front side. Looking at the track, Paul. It's definitely dried out. This is a weird surface. I do not like this situation. When there's definitely moisture in the surface, but it's also drying out. There's no more puddles. It actually looks decent. I have no idea how this is going to play, Paul. Like, no idea.
I'll tell you, it actually looks to me different just from the last race, Howard. It was
no
sealed.
Question.
I don't know, and you can see it better on TV. But I was trackside. I did watch the test from the winner's circle, and as I told you guys, if you could, I know I had a bad connection, but it was sealed and it was wet, and now it's. I don't know if they changed the class. It certainly looks more like good now. Is it good? Did they open it up? Did they unseal it?
They harrowed it.
Yeah. So it's unsealed. Yeah. I think the weather's through. Right now the sun is back out and the temperature is back to its usual 192 degrees this week.
It's harrowed. It's it's good. Of course, this is the last dirt race of the sequence now. So we got the turf, Paul, which I was surprised it was going to be firm. They took a lot of rain. This turf is going to be really chewed up and weird the last 2 races too. I'm assuming the last race is going to be still on the turf. I would assume.
I think because of the sequence, I think if they were going to take it off, they would have by now. Life is Good. I'm watching on the big screen going to the gate is very wet. Now it's very warm, so don't get me wrong. But
I'm sorry. Say that again.
Life is Good is very, very wet and warm.
Okay. Yeah, I see that too.
You'd have to compare them to the other horses because I look like that myself, and I'm not.
Paul, I'd say 2 things. I've seen Life is Good in person twice. He does tend to get a little bit hot. Kyle, I think he was a little bit hot, if I recall, at Belmont, but not as bad as I see.
That's what I was gonna say.
I'm not that worried, Paul, but it is something to think about. But Richie McGlory, Pete, has said many times that they need to, they need to perspire just like we do. That's actually part of their natural cooling system. So I didn't see like any crazy kidney sweat. I think he's gonna be okay, Pete.
Yeah, he looks fine. I mean, I'm definitely no expert in that, but he looks. Yeah, I don't see anything that would concern me if I was back. Life is Good.
Paul, do you want to stay on as I go through this, or would you rather me take you off here?
I'm gonna walk toward the big screen. I'm happy to stay on.
All right. Do me a favor though, Paul, because obviously you're gonna see what's gonna happen before we do. Just don't. I'm actually gonna respectfully ask you not to comment on anything if you don't mind.
Yeah, that's fine.
I know it'll be tempting. They're about to go. Actually, I think we can. You know what, Paul? I'm going to take you off because I think I just heard the PA in the background.
Yeah, okay,
we'll bring you back after the race, Paul. Thank you, Paul. We'll bring you back after the race.
Well, they went from what I'm seeing. They went. They're going from.
Yeah, it depends on what you're watching.
Oh, they are already off. You're right. I'm sorry. They are off, and Life is Good. Absolutely explodes from the gate. Sorry, everyone, for my false start. Hot Rod Charlie is not going to remotely get close to the lead. And he's on the inside. Olympiad is where he's been, guys. Olympiad is exactly where he's been for all these races. Hot Rod Charlie looked like for a second they tried to squeeze through, but he did not get there at all. Life is Good with a very comfortable lead, 23-3, guys. But Olympiad is exactly where he wants to be, Pete.
Yeah, I might be a little bit ahead of you based on what you're saying, but yeah, I'm
okay.
He's in a decent spot. I mean, where are you
right
at?
Now? Life is Good has about a 3-length lead from what I'm watching. They're about to hit the half. Is that 46?
Pete, I think
I'm
together.
Yeah, I
What's
think
the
me
half
and Kyle,
mile,
because they're
guys?
about to hit the stretch from where I am.
All right, so don't say anything for right now. I'm trying to get the half. I thought I saw 46 and something. Olympiad is pretty about 5 lengths back, trying to make a move here. Hot Rod Charlie is not out of it yet. That half was 46 and 3. Life is
my
good
God.
still with a
Oh my God.
2-length lead. Oh, guys, that's oh boy.
Nope.
I don't know
Never
what's
mind.
going on. They're ahead
Never
of me.
mind.
Life is good.
Okay,
Has the
never
lead.
mind.
Here comes Hot Rod Charlie on the outside, and who is? Don't even begin.
Yeah,
to tell
it
me.
is. It is who you think
Zoomer
it is.
on the inside?
No, it's Happy
What the
Saver.
hell?
Oh,
was-
Happy
but
Saver. Sorry.
That's what-
Life is Good is fighting. Happy Saver, I don't think is going to get there.
No.
Life is Good comes
No.
over on Happy
Hey,
Saver.
Zoomer.
They are really struggling in the stretch, but Life is Good is going to hang on and win. Happy Saver is going to finish second. Hot Rod Charlie third. Olympiad very, very disappointing. You guys had me nervous. I don't know. Do you guys think there should be an inquiry? Is that what you're saying?
No,
No,
I saw Happy Saver come up
was
on the
coming up
inside.
the rail. He looked like
That's
he was making a move.
That's what I was like.
I'll tell you
no,
what.
Here we go.
It's IRAD on Life is Good, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He did exactly
Right there, it
what-
looks like. Right there, it looks
he
like. I
did
don't know,
exactly
Kyle,
what
if you're
Jose
seeing the same
Ortiz-
thing.
He did exactly what Jose Ortiz did on early voting in the Preakness. Guys, I think he was clear. I don't think we're going to see an inquiry. He ended up winning by 3 lengths. Life is Good. It's just too damn fast, guys. Let's bring Paul back in. Paul, there won't be an inquiry, correct? You don't think?
I don't think there'll be a change. We just had a 3-way inquiry and objection in the test. I think he was clear, Howard. I'm watching it on the big screen, and he definitely, this is IRAD being IRAD, obviously, but he definitely comes over. But I'm looking on the big replay right now, and Johnny V altered course with Happy Saver. I think he was clear. I would be shocked if we see a change. I'm not saying you won't see an inquiry. I don't know if Johnny's going to object, but I'd be shocked if you see a change.
I'm watching the pan shots on NBC, and I mean, Paul, what do you? I guess if you like Life is Good, you like that move from a jockey. That particular move, I'm not as negative as has been with IRAD. Was it necessary? It might have been. I mean, Life is Good wasn't exactly on the highest cruising speed. I don't know what to make. I don't know what to say.
Yeah, I mean, IRAD looked behind him at the top of the stretch. And he looked like he was in deep water at just outside the quarter pole. But and remember, he was stretching out too. I think he's only run 1 1/8 once. Is that right? I'm not looking at the PT.
I believe it.
Yeah, it was in the Pegasus. Yes.
Yeah, so I mean, he was, and that was 9, 8, 7 months ago. So
yeah,
this is a very good animal.
Kyle,
I mean, this wasn't the toughest Whitney ever, but these are pretty good horses. And Hot Rod third, he shows up every time. We were wrong; he didn't contest early, but he wasn't going to win the race from there. But he picks up a check, I guess.
Paul, I feel, Kyle, I'm going to let you chime in here. I feel about Life is Good as I felt in the Pegasus, and all you guys know this, and it wasn't exactly an original thinking, but a lot of people loved Nick Sko in that race. I could not say how much strongly I loved Life is Good, if you guys all recall in that race. This horse, Kyle, is so effing fast in the first, 50 yards, especially for a route horse. It's just unbelievable. He's so damn fast out of the gate.
I mean, he showed it right there. I mean, it's the same exact thing. I mean, I was with you again as Life is Good in the Pegasus. The only thing he raced 1.25 miles once, and that was obviously in Dubai where he lost. But yeah, he raced 1.8 miles the Pegasus. Shot out like a rocket that day as well. He passes every test every time. People were saying at Belmont, Speaker's Corner maybe, and not even close.
Official.
Okay. It's official, by the way. Final time 148.4. It was 0.03 away from 149. It was 148.97 on this track, Pete. He went 20-33, 46-4, 110-4, Pete. Finished the mile in 135-3 on this track, 148-4. This is a very fast race.
Yeah, I mean, it's basically it's very similar to what he did in the Pegasus. In all honesty,
it really is.
I mean, that's what he can. Well, so the fractions don't necessarily, unless you're cooking. A good horse can cut fractions like that, especially if he's cutting them on his own. So horses can cut fast fractions when they're excellent. as long as they're not being pressured, and he wasn't pressured at all. So, I mean, I think for him, that's just how good he is, and he can do that. So the time to me is it's great because he's great, and that's about it.
Paul, I know you've got to cover the next race. So, Paul, when do you need? Actually, you know what, Paul, you froze up again. I'm going to take you off the screen, Paul, if you can hear us, and come back on whenever you can. I don't want to take you away from your work, but we appreciate all your insight, Paul. So, whenever you want to come back on, you're more than welcome, Paul. I'm going to take you off the screen here. All right. So, Paul's going to be covering.
That comment up.
Actually, you know what, Paul? Actually, Paul, while we still have you here, let me bring. Paul, while we still got you on, do you have a quick thought about the next race you want to comment on? Who do you like?
Boy, I think it's a very good race. I used the 4, 6, 10 as ace. I mean, the 2 Euros, you know, everyone seemed to have a bad trip in the Belmont Derby except for Classic Causeway. I would not bet a penny on Classic.
All right, Paul, you're going in and out. I'm going to take you off there. Sorry about that, Paul. If you can hear us, Paul, I took you off screen. By the way, Paul had the same 3 that I think we had, Pete, and I think we all were like 4, 6, 10. I think, right?
Yeah, much. I think that's
by the way,
all
guys,
of us. Yeah,
I know. I was going to say it too. I think you're looking at the same thing I am.
Kyle, you ready for this? And Pete, I don't know if you guys saw the dollar pick 3.
Oh.
Heavy chalk to Chi-Town Lady to Life is Good for $1.206.
Wow,
that is insane. Oh, that's unbelievable.
That's unbelievable.
That really is unbelievable. I mean, I think St. Tab was 8 to 5. I'm going back.
Yes,
yeah.
He was.
No, actually, yeah, 8 to 5.
Yeah, 8 to 5. Yeah,
an 8 to 5 and a 4 to 5.
Can I
and
also
just throw one? Not only I know it's a bomb, guys, but it's a small field bomb that usually shouldn't mean as much. This pick 5 could pay a lot, even and these next 2 races are clusters.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm alive. So selfishly, I needed that. By the way, I feel awful for not seeing the beginning of the race. I was not looking at my phone.
Can I also point something out here? A Classic Causeway opens up as the second choice at 3 to 1.
Get out of here.
So I swear, right now, yes, he did 3 to 1. He opened up. He opens up as the second choice behind 5 to 2 in Nation's Pride.
Okay. That's all I got to say is okay.
Okay. By the way,
before it changes.
Speaking of Classic Causeway, my cousin is at Saratoga right now, and he texted me this. So he's like, I went to the bathroom, I went to bet, and then in the bathroom, and Kenny McPeak was at our table chatting. So he missed chatting with Kenny McPeak. But by the way, he said they're not sending with Classic Causeway. So we'll take that for what it's worth.
Well, actually, I heard that they're going to go, but they're going to try to sit off. I heard the same thing.
Yeah.
I actually heard the same thing earlier today, which I don't understand at all.
Yeah, I said, well, then my thought was, well, then he's losing. So, you could do that, but then he's got.
Well, I mean, so now Emmanuel's going to wire the field unconventionally. Is that what's going to happen here? I mean, I don't know.
I mean, I think I think main event is I think of as cheap speed. So maybe if they're thinking main event goes and we sit off cheap speed, then maybe you could do that. But I feel like Emmanuel has to go, or else I don't know what shot Emmanuel has otherwise.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just sort of looking at I'm looking at a bunch of things.
Hey Kyle, you didn't bang that super for $4.07 or for 10 cents. That's a nice percentage payout. Come on, man, that was an easy one.
Dude, it's always a good percenage payout.
I mean, it's a ticket, and you would have cashed a ticket at least. That's better than nothing, right? Hey, can we? I like these comments from Vale Place because I agree 100% on the ride by Junior on Olympiad because he was the most disappointing in the race. So maybe we should talk about him a little bit.
I'm sorry. We need to talk more about. I mean, it's not just all about Life is Good. Let's talk very quickly. I don't know how much time we have in the next race. We need to recap.
We got 26 minutes. We got 26.
Okay. All right. Let's talk. And again, if anyone, if either one of you tell me when the Whitney or the test, I'd be happy to show either one of them a replay. Maybe Kyle, why don't you see if you can go on YouTube and see if they just type in Whitney or test and see if someone has it up. It actually needs to be through Naira. I got to be careful what I show.
Mm-hmm.
Pete, I'm going to address you now. So Hot Rod Charlie didn't really send. I'm not sure if he tried to send hard. I have to watch the replay, but really got a perfectly fine trip. Just not good enough again.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't think he's good enough to win these races. Plus, him coming off the pace has never really been his game, so I'm not sure. And chasing someone so good. I mean, I could see again if you're going to try and come off the pace and chase cheap speed, that's one thing. But if you're chasing probably the best or top 2 or 3 horses in the country, you're not going to get there trying to do something new when he has an uncontested lead. I thought Hot Rod Charlie ran fine. I mean, I think he ran what he is. I think that's what he is. You put him in against lower level, not lower level, but just a notch below. I've said this before, and you guys gave me some crap last time. But I was like, I just don't think he beats these types of horses. So I think he did fine. He ran a nice race, and it came off the pace. He actually closed some ground in the end. I thought he ran okay.
I could make the argument, Pete, that it was disappointing to get second. I mean, are we saying the Happy Saver is a better animal now? I mean, he should have gotten second, at least in my opinion. With the assumption that Olympiad wasn't going to run. And by the way, those of you watching at home, I hope you're just listening to us and you have your audio on us along with YouTube, and you still have the TV on, probably on mute. Is I would assume for everyone. Kyle. Happy Saver runs a giant race getting up. The thing is, though, he probably ran absolutely as best he can. I mean, he saved ground while others were sort of ding-donging. And to say that he clunked up would seem to be a bit disrespectful. I mean, he only lost by, 2 lengths. And based on what you guys were saying, as I was watching, I was like, don't tell me Happy Saver is winning this thing.
It looked like he was coming up there at the at like the 8th pole almost. It looked like he was like right up alongside him. And Irad looked to his left. He said, "Oh crap, I gotta go." But I mean, like, I think Happy Saver just ran the race that we said he was going to run before it. I think he's just the benefit of everyone trying to chase the rocket that is Life is Good, and he comes up the inside on a good trip. Even though we've seen that the rail, that people are trying to avoid the rail, he just gets a good trip up the rail and closes for a good second. I think he ran his race. He ran his good closing pace, and that's just where he kind of finished up. But it was definitely a good second.
Hey, you don't have the PPs up, Howard, but if you look at Happy Saver, he's been in now 5 straight 4 grade 1s and a grade 2. He's run second in all of them. He does the same thing every time. I assume this figure is going to come back pretty good. He's increased his buyers, 96, 99, 99, 102, whatever he gets here. I mean, this is what he does. He's better than we think. He just doesn't win. He doesn't win these races, but he just runs, like Kyle said, he runs his race every single time. And you keep giving me seconds in grade 1s, I'm going to take it if I'm his connections.
It's a pretty good check.
Yeah, no, he's a good. Yeah. He's good. You know what Happy Saver is to me? He's one of those horses that if he goes to the Classic, and who knows, what it's going to look like, but those are one of the horses I could definitely use underneath in tries at like 25-1.
Oh yeah.
But I can't see him winning a kind of race like that. He's just really honest.
He won't win the race, but honest, yeah, right? He'll Flightline, Life is Good, Happy Saver straight. Or vice versa, Life is Good, Flightline, Happy Saver. Just bang those 3 in a row, and you might get something.
All right, now we got to talk. we got to talk about Olympiad, guys. I was against Olympiad on the win end. I thought he could win, but I liked Life is Good. But I certainly didn't think Olympiad was run nearly as bad as he did. I'll have to watch the replay in the head-on. He just spit the bit down the stretch. I didn't see any excuses, Pete. Did you see anything?
No, I mean, I didn't like go back to Vale Place and his complaints about Alvarado. I didn't like the ride at all. I don't think.
Really?
No, I thought it was terrible. I just thought, I like him closer. I didn't think he was close enough the whole time. He started to fall back a bit. And again, this is just from the one watch, so I apologize if I'm mistaken anything. But I said my only thought for him to win and beat Life is Good was to be on his neck when they hit the lane and then try and make him work. And he was, and maybe he had nothing and he couldn't do that. So that's a different story. But I just thought he was too far back. I don't know if the viewers, listeners who maybe paid a little bit closer attention or have seen the replay again have any thoughts on that. I don't know, Kyle. You were watching too. What'd you think?
I mean, like I said, that's kind of the thing is why I'm like a little bit in the middle is because if he didn't have it, then that's just a different story. Yeah. But it looked like on the back. I mean, I don't know if Alvarado took back on the back stretch or he just didn't have anything. He dropped. I mean, Charlie was gaining ground a little bit closer.
Yep.
And it almost like Olympia dropped back to like where Happy Saver was trying to make his run. So like, I don't know if he was holding him.
Yeah.
And like I said, I don't know if he was holding them or he just didn't have it. Like I said, there's two different sides of the coin there. But if he was just holding them back, that's where I just don't understand.
Yeah, I'd want to listen to I'd have to like read or hear the post race and see if he says something like I didn't have it. If Alvarado comes back and just says, I had nothing under me, I tried to go and he wasn't there, blah blah blah. That's one thing, but it didn't make sense to me watching him. That's not anywhere near, right? I mean, you like Olympiad like me. I don't know.
I mean, I agree. And like I said, I mean, it could just be coming down to the point where he's just trying to chase, like I said, he's trying to chase a rocket. And that could also be
that could be it too. Yeah.
I mean, we all saw that start. And if Olympiad's trying to play his game and get close, I mean, he's never faced that fast of a horse.
But he also didn't if you told me he tried to contend with Life is Good and then got put away and faded, that's one thing. But he never even got close enough to have, to me, it could have been anybody up front the way he ran. I mean, it wasn't like Life is Good put him away. Life is Good just was running by himself, and Olympiad was just sort of fading on his own. So I agree with you, except that he just never even tried to contest him. And that was weird to me. And I don't get that.
No, I agree with that as well. I think that's a very fair point.
We'd love to hear everyone's opinions in the live chat. Here's what we're going to do, guys. We're going to take about just a 1-minute commercial break here, and then we're going to come back for the last Grade 1 race. It's the Saratoga Invitational. It's a mile, I believe, 3/16. I'm going off of memory here because I got a lot of things going on. Grade 1 turf race, very exciting. So, guys, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and actually take you guys off screen right now. We will be back in about 1 minute. I will put a 30-second warning up for my co-hosts here so they know. But we will be back in approximately 1 minute for the last Grade 1 of the day at Saratoga. Thanks for watching live the HHH Racing Podcast. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back here live on the HHH Racing Podcast. Before we get to the last Grade 1 of the day, and by the way, everyone stay tuned because based on the timing, we might actually show the West Virginia Derby, which is scheduled for 6:35 Eastern Standard Time. So we'll see how the timing. Actually, if one of you guys maybe can.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now.
Put yourself on an eye. What? I wouldn't got a minute to post for West Virginia Derby, Peter.
I'm looking at it right now.
All right. As Kyle looks that up, Pete, I just want to make one more comment about Olympiad. Yeah. Something had to have happened. Like he ran way too poorly. You can say that he didn't get a good ride, and I'm not going to argue that. But he lost by what? I mean, he was up the track. Something obviously happened. Assuming he's going to come out of this race okay, Pete. Are you prepared to say that he's maybe not a Breeders' Cup Classic type, or is this just a blip on the radar?
No, I would treat it as a blip on the radar.
It's
Go
over.
ahead, Kyle.
Sorry, the West Virginia Derby's over. They went off it went off at what 4:53.
Okay, then I apologize. I was completely wrong.
No, you were right. I swear I saw the same thing as well. So they must be way ahead of schedule.
Okay, anyway, sorry. Go ahead, Pete. I'm going to look into that.
No, I don't have anything too much else. I think you can't let, again, like if he comes back and they say nothing happened, he just ran a bad race, then I think you have to come back in the Classic. I'm not sure what else you would do, but again, you got to see what you do in between, though. I mean, there's going to be another race in between. I'm not sure what it'll be for him yet. Maybe they'll give him a little break or something, but I assume whatever comes up next and how he runs will drive whether he goes in the Classic.
Yeah, I think he's still very talented. I just don't know what happened. The last thing I'll say, by the way, the West Virginia Derby winner, Skippy Longstocking, wins at 7-2. I think I see. We the People second, Simplification third. Home Base, Pete, a horse that just absolutely blew the doors off at Monmouth, is not in the top three. Again, I don't know. Actually, finished fourth. Home Base finished fourth. So Skippy Longstocking, a horse that I actually have chased a little bit, gets the job done. I'm assuming there was a fast pace and he closed, but I will.
Yeah, I'm going to watch it. I'll watch it now real quick.
Okay. We got a lot of. Let's get some quick comments here. Let's see. Oh, they're just talking about the West Virginia Derby. Okay. They had some weather there. Maybe they accelerated the times, because I swear I thought they were going to be going off.
I could have swore it was. I mean, it might have been Eastern time, but
don't worry. That's okay. No worries.
Also, just a heads up on the Naira YouTube channel. Both the Whitney and the test are both up on YouTube.
Oh, okay. And we've got, how much time do we have here in the? Hold on a second here.
I think it was 13 minutes last time I looked.
All right. I think we need to talk about. Well, okay. I'll tell you what. I think let me. I'm gonna go ahead and bring it up on YouTube. The Whitney, Pete, and Kyle. Why don't you guys talk about the pace scenario and about the Saratoga Invitational? Kyle, I'll let you go first because you were not with us on Thursday. Pete, you can just piggyback off his comments.
Yeah,
I'll join in a minute, guys.
Yep. I mean, like I said, for some reason I'm just looking at my ticket. I threw Ethereal Road on there. I guess because his dam is turf breeding, but that was interesting by me. But I mean, I feel like now Emmanuel I feel like he's got to go, obviously, with Main Event going, because that's the only way he's going to have any shot. I think both Annapolis and I think Annapolis sits a good trip in the middle, and the 2 Euros are going to come from farther back. It just depends on what the pace scenario on the first quarter and half mile are going to look like here, going around that first turn. Because I mean, if Main Event gets to the front there, if he somehow shows up as quick as Emmanuel does, I mean, there can definitely be enough pace in here for the Euros to come flying at the end. Gee, is that the way you saw it, kind of too?
Yeah, 100%. Because I agree with you. I think Main Event has no other option but to go from the rail. I mean, that's sort of his game. Emmanuel, I think, is the same. So Emmanuel, you figure, he can either try and pass Main Event or sit just on his outside. And then again, Classic Causeway, my assumption would also gun out, because that's what he does his best running. So I figure those three should be near the lead. I think Annapolis is, what's his odds? I just saw him earlier. He was about 7-2. I don't have it. I'm on West Virginia still right now, but
3-1.
He's almost good value just based on the way the race would shape up. But again, if they cook up there, then I still like I think what you said is exactly right. The 2 Euros, Nation's Pride and Home Base will be sitting off, and then we'll see if they can get there. We'll see if they cook up enough front to give them something to run at. But I think Annapolis is definitely going to get that first jump and is good enough to win from there for sure.
I'm actually really intrigued that Charlie Appleby actually brought William Buick over here for the 4.
Yeah.
Because he brought, obviously, Frankie. I think Frankie was just there at Belmont that day.
Yeah.
So he used Frankie. But he actually brings over William Buick, who's rode him 4 times. For this race, which is actually, like I said, it's actually really intriguing because,
and that's his guy. I mean, that's right. Usually his guy. So I mean, it makes.
But And Aiden O'Brien's actually just using Johnny Velasquez, so he's not even he didn't bring Ryan Moore for it. So
it's funny when I was looking at the and I was doing the statistics for what we send out to the subscribers. The one thing that struck me, and it doesn't mean that much. So Appleby hasn't won since the Breeders' Cup. It's only 5 races, but he's got 4 seconds. But he actually hasn't won when he was winning everything. Up at last year he was winning everything. Now he hasn't been able to get a win. And then I was looking at Aiden O'Brien in the U.S. races in the past year. He's got 1 win out of 17 tries. So now those two, they haven't been able to get on the win end in a little bit. Again, I trust Appleby here a hell of a lot more, but just something interesting. Go ahead, Howard. You're going to run this.
Yeah, I'm going to do it. I have the sound off. Let's just go and watch it and talk through it for the viewers. Again, everyone, this is the replay of the Whitney that just happened, won by Life is Good. Pete, I'm going to let you comment first as the race goes on. Kyle, you go after Pete, and then I'll comment last. I'm literally just going to let it run all the way through, guys. Pete, the floor is yours here.
Sure. Let's see.
Tell me what you think here.
Yeah, if I recall correctly, well, it's yeah. I mean,
he has a head start. I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah, he breaks like a shot. It's like they open the gate early for him or something. He just breaks like a shot, and you see. At this point, if you looked at it, you go, okay, this race is over because Hot Rod Charlie, he's sitting there. Like at that point, you would have expected does Hot Rod Charlie go? He's close, but he's not really contesting him. Life is Good is cruising like he normally would at his best.
Now, Kyle, I think Pete is saying that, Pete, correct me if I'm wrong, you would have wanted Olympia start asking right now by June.
No, not even close to now. No, my whole thing when you're chasing a good front runner, or in this case a great front runner, when you hit that far turn before you hit the stretch, I like you to make your move then because they're hard to run down in the lane if you're that good. And look at this here. I mean, there's no way you're catching this horse if he's got a 4.5 length lead or a 3.5 length lead. Again, the fractions don't matter. 23, that's nothing for this horse. I mean, this horse is so good. That's nothing for him.
Kyle, your thoughts?
This is where I was questioning it. Was when Howard Charlie starts to move. And see, he's trying to take that early move. And like I said, whether Olympia just doesn't have it, but then it almost doesn't because then now Junior starts asking him a little bit.
Well, he's on a loose rein, Kyle. He's trying. Yeah. I got to say, he's trying to get there. He just.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, he's trying to get there, Pete. I will say, I think IRAD did a great job. Let me freeze it right here. I think IRAD did a great job of running a fast second quarter. I think it's very underrated.
Yeah.
Where he basically took Hot Rod Charlie and Olympiad off the bridle and said, "Come and catch me." And they had to move earlier too. Now you could say Life is Good had to, we had to move early, but I think that was a great job by IRAD. I would give more credit to IRAD as opposed to being against Junior's ride. Just my opinion, Pete. But I understand.
Well, two things could also be true in the same race. Also, there could be some truth to both. So yeah, you're probably right. But I think it helped that he didn't have to use it all to get the lead. So he had it in the tank.
I mean, Junior is shoving.
Yeah.
And they're not even mid-turn yet. He just didn't have the horse.
Yeah, that's what I'm guessing. He probably just didn't have it.
Now here's Happy Saver up the inside. I apologize. I felt like it was Rich Strike. I'm like, who the hell is this horse? Because right now you can't see the saddlecloth. I didn't,
we knew. Me and Kyle knew who it was.
Yeah. Now they're way off. If the rail is bad, don't you have to even upgrade Happy Saver even more?
Yeah. I mean, although he's. Oh, sorry, Kyle. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say if that's the way it comes back, 100%. Because I mean, right there is where me and Pete were like,
Because Life is Good looks like he's folded about a second, and like he was folded for a second.
On the wrong lead, by the way, guys.
Yeah.
No, that's 100%. Did Happy Saver ever switch over to his right?
No, he didn't. Yeah,
I don't think so. Right.
Which is also. Yeah. I mean, like I said, he got the trip, but that's a big effort from Happy Saver.
If he ever switched back to his right lead,
might be talking different.
I'll tell you what. So that was the Whitney. Fascinating. Let's get back to the. So I'm switching around. Did you guys want to talk more about the Saratoga Invitational on your end, or do you want me just to chime in here?
I mean, like I said, that's just where my kind of landed is I think Annapolis sits the right trip for this race. If there's, I mean, obviously if Classic Causeway sitting off as well, I think Annapolis even upgrades a little more now, just sitting that middle trip. But like I said, if there's enough speed in front, I think definitely the 4 more than the 10, but they definitely have the setup for this race as well. So I'm not getting too creative here.
I talked about Annapolis is 3-1. I said at the show I would never bet him at his morning line odds. If he drifts to 7-2, I might be tempted to get the phone out. I realize he's never gone this far. There's a lot, Harvey Pack would say never bet a favorite, but he's not a favorite though. Who is the favorite? Is the Nation's Pride? Is it
Nation's Pride? Nation's 2-1. Yeah.
It's 5-2. And I'm assuming Classic Causeway drifted up, right? Yeah, 5. Well, he's
only 5. Yeah, I mean, I didn't expect him to take. Wow. Well, I guess there's a lot of, there's a lot of money there today that just sees, hey, he beat a bunch of these horses last time, so why wouldn't he beat him again? I mean, if you have maybe not the sharpest money on a day like this in some cases, and they're looking at it going, hey, well, I see the Classic Causeway ran against how many in the field? 1, 2, 3, 4, at least 5. I forget how many were in that last race out of this field, but if you're looking at it that way, and you go, maybe he beats him again, but that's where the money comes from.
Yeah. Now the turf situation, just because the turf might be a little bit softer, obviously it's softer than it was early in the day, but I don't. Is it looking good right now, guys? Anyone see?
I see firm on TVG. I'm looking at TVG, but I see firm still. But I don't know if they did anything.
Oh, that's pretty silly because it's obviously not firm. But it's I doubt it's really that bad. But
through the Saratoga feed as well, it says firm.
Okay, well, the thought that these Euros are now have an advantage because it got some rain, I wouldn't necessarily say that. Here's what scares me as someone who's alive to a lot of things right now. Pick 3s, pick 4s, pick 5. Actually, not pick. I didn't play the pick 4. Who's alive to decent sized pick 5s? I think it's gonna be, and pick 3s as well. Here's what scares me: the Euros should have won the last time. They should have won last time. The whole field, other than Classic Causeway, was clumped together. I mean, Side Dog was like a length off. Like a lot of these bombs were like a length off. So I'm hoping that these Euros can step up second time in the States. Or Annapolis is better because that last race, I guess I should give more credit to Classic Causeway guys, but I just, that last race came back a sub 90 buyer. I just wasn't blown away. It just feels like these Euros have to improve off that last effort, or Annapolis is just the most talented because one of those 3 don't win. I just put my hands up the air. I don't know what to say. Yeah, that's my feeling.
I mean, I would fully agree with that statement. Like I said, whether the shipping, but I do agree that the Euros should have won that last race, but whether for whatever factor, but like I said, I feel like Nation's Pride just fits here. And then, like I said, if Annapolis is more talented, I think he fits here out of anybody, but
now they did get some wide trips. I will say that it wasn't ideal. There was ground loss. Now this turf is totally different, Pete, than what they ran at Belmont. Belmont was absolutely rock hard. Mm-hmm. It says you're right. It does say firm, but it's probably on the good side. Yeah. However, Pete, the distance is a little bit shorter in this race than the Belmont race. You'd have to believe they're going to go a decent pace in this race.
But there's also on paper there's more speed too than last time. So it's one or the other. You might get a different turf, but now you have a little bit more speed, so that should set it up. Again, I don't know. These aren't the greatest Euros we've ever had over for these kind of races. These aren't the greatest U.S. horses we've had in a while. So it's not. This is like a little bit a notch down of I think what these top grade 1 3-year-old turf races are normally. So maybe it's just, hey, none of them are great. So they could just beat each other up a little bit. It could be one of those where, hey, a different one wins. If they keep facing each other, a different one wins every time, all dependent upon trip.
Yeah. So they're pretty much approaching the gate, right? Did I say that? I'm going to watch this on my phone because last time I wasn't on my phone and you guys were way ahead of me. So I'm actually watching on my phone through that company that is in Kentucky that I don't want to say their name because of what's going on next week.
Always such bitterness on this podcast from you.
You're home.
From you, Arlington.
I was going to say,
don't Arlington people.
Don't even bring it up.
No,
there we go.
Bring it up.
All right, guys. Final thoughts. They're as I see, they're going in the gate. I'm assuming the race has not gone off yet.
No.
We're going with the €2 or Annapolis is our thought, right?
Yep.
I mean, yeah, I don't think any of us were. That's what we did on the show. I think on the show, remember, all three of us, and they went off from what I'm saying.
I please send the one. Do not let Emmanuel get loose or Classic Causeway catch a flyer. Just please send the one. That's what I'm watching. That's the first thing I'm going to watch, guys. Just send the one.
Well, it went off for me.
And they're off in the Saratoga Invitational, and main event is sending. Forget Classic Causeway rating. He's sent out, and he is getting the lead again, guys. Classic Causeway has a lead, although it looks like a little bit more of an honest pace. You got main event is in second, stalking. In behind that, you have the €2 are not that far off today. Sorry, Nation's Pride's not that far off. Emmanuel is in between horses, I believe. I believe it's Stone Age on the outside wide. Is that right?
They went Howard. They went the quarter.
There's no way that's true.
They went the quarter in 29. Is that correct?
I could go in 28. No.
I mean,
29.
Honestly,
the timing, whatever. They got the timing screwed up again.
Yeah, that might be
51.
Wrong. That can't be
51
right.
and 1. For
okay,
the
51.
Half, so
I was going to
like
say.
it.
I'll tell you, if that's right, though,
some guy fell
really
asleep.
Slow.
Yeah,
I don't
some guy
think
fell
that's
asleep
right,
at the.
I forget about the fractions. We don't know. Anyway, Classic Causeway got the lead. Nation's Pride's in a great spot, as is Stone Age, who again is a little bit wide.
Annapolis is getting a good
round. You got a lot of other horses back behind Royal Patronage, Side Dog, etc. Ethereal Road is bringing up the caboose in this race. We've got Classic Causeway on the lead. Main event is at 41, still in second. Nation's Pride is sitting an unbelievable trip on the inside for William Buick, who is about to tip out. If Nation's Pride does not win from here, I don't know what race he's going to win. Classic Causeway is still in hand as they reach the top of the stretch. It's Classic Causeway. Here comes Nation's Pride swinging to the outside, trying to come after this horse. You've got Annapolis is now coming on, and it looks like it's Nation's Pride trying to get by a very stubborn Classic Causeway. Here comes Annapolis. Nation's Pride has the lead. Nation's Pride is going to win the Saratoga Invitational. Annapolis, a decent second. Classic Causeway running a very game third. I don't care that he's chalk. I am personally ecstatic, guys, because I needed one of those three. William Buick he's my favorite European rider, guys. I love Frankie, but when you see a European rider who is aggressive, Kyle, and he did this at Del Mar too on Modern Games, like he's not like, the Jamie Spencer is going to take back 20 lengths and try to close from there. I love this ride. I love the aggression. He put Nation's Pride in the game. A perfect ride, Kyle.
Yeah, I was going to say no comment on that last statement, but yeah, I mean, like I was going to say, just an absolute class ride by William Buick there. After sitting 10 lengths back in the last race at Belmont, puts him up close because it's just, I'm sure Charlie Appleby and him talked before the race. I'm sure they saw what was in front of them, and they were like, we have to be closer today, and just put in a perfect spot. But William Buick tipped out at the top of the stretch and finishing like a Euro should, just straight off the screen.
Pete, this is what I thought was going to happen in the Belmont Derby, frankly.
Yeah, me too.
Classic. We don't know the fractions, Pete. Isn't amazing? Isn't racetrack talk wonderful? Classic Causeway's not going to go, right? He sent hard and crossed over. I don't know what the fractions were, but
I think but that's the right move. I mean, this is exactly he did everything right, and he for a second you're like, hey, if this 4 doesn't have it, this 9 can hold again, and I mean you got to start giving this horse a little bit of credit. It's not like It's not like he doesn't have any turf in his pedigree. We said that before the last race because I remember thinking, you never know. And then even in this one, I know I had him on the show. I had him as one of my 4 on our pick 5 that we did, just because, hey, maybe he's just good. And maybe if he could get on the lead again and back these horses down, because the 1 was cheap. Emmanuel, I never really liked. I don't really like that horse that much. So I didn't give too much credence to him. You just thought it could be speed though. And he didn't go. The 1 never really contested at all. So the 9 had his way again. And we know on these New York tracks, on the turf, what do we always say, Howard? You never know with the speed on these New York tracks. On the turf, I should say.
Yeah, I thought Annapolis. I think he got a pretty good trip. We'll have to watch it again another time. I thought, considering he was going that distance, ran perfectly fine.
It was fine.
Although my gut feeling, Pete, is he's gonna be better going shorter. I mean, if he was that good, wouldn't he maybe exploded by in the end?
Yeah, I would. He might be in a miler would be even better. Just point him towards the Breeders' Cup Mile if you're gonna. I mean, they're usually pretty deep in that, but depending on who comes over. But I would maybe point him there. But he ran fine. He didn't run great.
Well,
He did what he's supposed to do. He had a decent
got a
trip.
lot of he's got a lot of lengths to make up for them to consider the Breeders' Cup Mile at this point. But
Sure. But I'm saying if you're going to
talented.
point to one, if that's your goal, if you have to choose, I don't know if he's good enough to be in any of them, but if you're going to choose,
Stone Age got a wide trip again, Kyle. It looked like to me, but I guess if you're a fan of his, you could say that was a bit disappointing again. I think he did finish third though, right behind Annapolis. So again, another race. If he did finish,
I think he finished.
No, he finished like fifth. No, Side Dog
who finished third outside of Annapolis.
Classic Causeway finished third. Actually,
I'm sorry. Who was
Side Dog? Was the one that was Side Dog? It must have been.
Oh, okay.
Coming.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice horse. Actually, he's actually underrated. He's a nice horse. Guys, we're coming up on 6:30. And I need to watch the Hamiltonian so I can try to catch my pick 4 there. As we close out the show, Kyle, I'll let you go first. You got the test, big upset, the Chi-Town Lady. We've got Life is Good winning pretty darn impressively, I have to say, in my opinion, in the Whitney. And then Nation's Pride. Your overall thoughts on the grade 1 today, Kyle?
Like I said, I mean, it came out, besides the test, of course, obviously Maturin not running her race, but the other two, it came out exactly like we thought. I mean, Life is Good. It's just that he's well, no pun intended, he's that good. And he's just faster than a lot of these, like I said, these 3-year-olds and these 4-year-olds that are running today. So, I mean, if you're looking Breeders' Cup Classic time, granted, it depends on how Flightline's going to run in the towards the Classic, but I mean, you got to look at Life is Good as easily, if not the favorite in that race as of right now. But, and then, like I said, William Buick giving an absolute class ride, the Nation's Pride. Definitely no complaints on the day. Just got to catch a bomb in the last one.
Pete, your thoughts on the day overall, and then I'll go ahead and finish my thoughts.
Yeah, I'm sort of with Kyle. I mean, you like to see it's a weird distinction because from a betting standpoint, you hate when all the chalks win if you're playing a pick 5 and it's going to pay crap and you like a bomb. Here you got the bomb, which is nice. You got Life is Good, who looked like the best horse in the race and ran like it. Nation's Pride, same thing. You like to see these horses primed and ready to go as we kick into lead-ins to the Breeders' Cup. So I think that's exciting. I'll be curious to see, like you said, we got the bomb. So if you have the pick 5 going, you're still happy because, you don't have chalk in a row, which is always better than some of these graded stakes days where we get so many of these graded stakes days where you think you're going to get some prices and you don't, and you wind up just getting chalk all the way through. So I think it sort of covered everybody. If you're happy, if you're a bettor, you're happy if you're just a fan of horse racing.
By the way, Action Jackson opens up at 9-2, Pete. Just let you know.
Oh, boy.
So for those of you who don't know, Pete's son is named Jackson. So
I know Grandpa Sam, if he's watching or if any of his friends are watching, they all tend to watch. I know that's his money is definitely on Action Jackson. He doesn't miss a Jackson horse.
I've got some pick 5 will pays that I'm
That's
very
what I was
excited
gonna say,
about.
yeah.
Like these pick 5s are insane in the membrane. So for those of you that are watching, I know a lot of people left the show, but those of you who are watching and are part of the gold pool, we are alive. The gold podcast pool pick 5 is alive to 2, 4, 5, and 7. By the way, selfishly, I'm also alive to 2, 4, 5, 7 on my own, and the 2 is paying about 2,500. Action Jackson is about 30, almost 4,000. Come on, Sir John, do it. Come on. Oh, if Bill Mott comes through for me, how about 5,400 to the 5, and the 7 is 4,100. The lowest is the 2 actually at 20. Think about this: 2,600 to the chalk in the last race, with 3 big chalks in the sequence winning. It's absolutely incredible. I shouldn't. I mentioned I was on big chalk, but he was chalk. 3 chalk, one price, and bam, it's amazing.
You see by the way, I don't. We don't talk about them as much, but if you look at the pick 6 payouts, now you're adding Warlike Goddess you're adding Warlike Goddess, and the cheapest one looks to be 5,700 with the 2, which nothing like last week. But if you get a price here, you get another bomb, and you had Warlike Goddess, Life is Good, and Nation's Pride all in the same sequence, and you don't even need a bomb here to catch you could catch it with the 5, you can get 13 grand. You can catch it with the 4 and get 9 grand. So there's these pools are big. You got to get, the Saratoga pools are big. There's a little bit of unsharp money in these pools. So get in them and don't be afraid because there's some chalks in the sequence. I think that's maybe the lesson.
I could on the show, but I got to ask you guys I want to ask you one question, and I'm going to close with a thought. If you were yourself, let's not for me, not the pod, this is for yourself. You're alive like me to 4 horses in the pick 5 here. You may not like the ones that I have, but I'm alive to 2, 4, 5, 7 for over 2,500. Can you hedge? Would you hedge? How would you hedge in this race? Pete, I'm going to let you go first.
I'm not a hedger. I think we've talked about this before. Okay. I don't like to hedge. That's just it. The only way I would hedge is if, say you had 4 horses here and maybe none of them were the favorite. So maybe you threw the 2 out, but you didn't in this case. Maybe then I would do something where I did like an exacta or something, or a trifecta with the chalk on top, or with a horse who I'm afraid of. So I've done that before where like maybe I'll take a horse who I'm afraid of, put them over the top of mine and see if I could hit the exacta. I just don't know who that would be based on who you, unless you have one.
For me, it'd be the 8 and 9. Now, the 8 has numbers that fit, but then the 8 was like, I'm not going to look at the PPs. The 8 has had many chances. It
go for 17.
The 9 is a horse that Andrew Champagne and I both agree
killed that horse.
Is like a horse that just can't win on, has gotten easy leads and still can't win. I personally be afraid of the 8-9 piece. So I could go, and this is really not for me, but people that are watching and want to learn, you could go 8-9 with the 4 that I have in second in an exacta, right?
Yeah,
and
or a try. Yeah, even.
Or a try, right? And if those 4 that I have don't come first or second, you're just a bad handicapper in that race. You just lose. Right?
I mean, that's the thing. And you don't have to spend a ton of money. I mean, you can just back it up with, just to have something so you're not pissed when you get caught at the wire by the 8 or the 9 or vice, or, something happens and you're like, oh man, I lost everything. At least you get a little backup. But yeah, I always would fool around with that. I don't think there's anything big you can do here though. Just
Kyle, do you like to hedge at all, or what would you do, Kyle, if you were me in the situation?
I mean, yeah. The problem is it's this kind of the maiden type of race. I usually just trust because like I said, I know you research a lot as well. I just trust my own opinion. I don't usually hedge in these types of races, but which might have been, rail me in the comments. I hedged to Secret Oath for that second pick 5 against Nest, who won by the whole stretch. But I hedged to where I'd cash for 250 to my 650 if Nest hit. But in these races, that if I have strong opinions in the race, I keep it. But I do I have done what Pete has done before, where if I have the second favorite and that's not one that I cover, I'll usually do exacta him over everybody else.
Now this isn't a strong opinion kind of. I don't think any of us on the show had any sort of opinion in this race. I mean, you like the 5. But that wasn't. I mean, it's a flyer as much as it's not. There's not a ton on paper.
It's taking money. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. What's funny? I was going to tell you that everybody I listened to was on the 5. So we were almost every other pod.
I also have tries with him in each spot for the podcast. Well, real quick, because the Hamiltonian is going to go off, and it's an exciting, biggest harness race of the year. My 2 thoughts. Number 1. Is I'm probably going to make a small hedge here, 8-9 with something. Number 1. Number 2, as much as I love Life is Good, if he goes to the Classic, which assuming he will, whether Floodline's there or not, if anyone can breathe on this horse early, going 1.25 miles at Keeneland, I think he's going to be a very bad favorite. If there's someone with legitimate speed that can put pressure on him early, it just seems like he's barely hanging on. Like in this race and in in the Pegasus. I mean, not barely hanging on. There's something about this horse, Pete, that 1.25 miles with other speed, and let's just say Flightline's not in the race, he could be a very bad 8-5, just in my opinion, as of right now. Well, in the Classic.
Oh, and I would think if there's no Flightline, I think he's probably.
God,
isn't he? Yeah, he's even lower than that. I agree with you. I just don't know who that speed is aside from maybe the 3-year-olds. The 3-year-olds have a little bit of speed. And again, some of those haven't run up to par to where maybe we don't even know if they're going to make it. The speed ones, I mean, not like an Epicenter.
Yep.
Well, so I want to thank everyone for watching today. It's been a great show. Kyle, that gentleman right there, is going to be with us on Tuesday night. It's college night. Join us Tuesday night. It's going to be a lot of fun. Kyle's going to be here with 2 experienced college-age handicappers. We're going to talk about how we get younger people involved and talk about the late pick 5 Wednesday at Saratoga. So join us Tuesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern. For Pete Visco and Kyle Roscoe, this has been your host, Howard Kravitz, episode 166. Had a lot of fun watching the Grade 1 races today at Saratoga. Hope you cashed. Good luck to everyone, and we hope to see you Tuesday night. Take care. Bye, everyone. Oh, I know I'm still on. Bye-bye now.